Hey guys, this video was inspired by a viewer that was in my live session tonight. This was the second time I got a comment like this. It was actually a wife who said she wanted to go travel and camping, whether it's living out of a car or RV, but her husband was reluctant to do so. So, my advice, which I've given to both people, is always do what you want. But my opinion is, go and take day trips. Because for me, even though I've been full time living out of my car for a year and a half now, even before I started living out of my car, even started to think about the mobile RV lifestyle, I got into a season of my life where I was getting antsy, depressed, sad, being around the same things, the same parks, the same stores, the same 30-mile radius. And so I just began to take day trips, not even with the mindset of eventually living full time in my car or full time RVing. It was just with the mindset of life had got boring. Life had got miserable to some extent. And there was an itch inside me that there's got to be something else out there. And that really started me developing myself and seeing more of the country and expanding my mind and building my confidence. Because when you travel outside of your 30-mile normal radius, what you do is you build your confidence. Because even if you say you know you can do it, you're a little bit apprehensive because it's fearful. Anytime you get in a car and you start to drive more than an hour away from your house or where you're normally at, there is a fear and an anxiousness that starts to come upon you. And there's a resistance. After you get about an hour away from your house, there's a resistance. You start to get into the unfamiliar parts unknown. Even if it's, a populated area, you want to go back home. You want to go back to the familiar roads. You want to go back to the familiar store because you stopped and pulled over and they're not the same at this Starbucks, or the supermarket didn't have the same items in the same spot, and this road was a little bit confusing and you didn't know, how to navigate it. I want to encourage you to get past that resistance. Keep going. And even too, like, what I notice is once you get like past an hour away from your house, you start to miss people. You start to miss your family. You start to miss your friends. You start to miss people that you know are in the area that you're normally in. And you get sad. That's resistance. But to grow, you have to learn to push past resistance. And travel develops the mind. I remember hearing different leaders say that, and it's true. And it helps you explore yourself. That's what you're really exploring. You're exploring parts of your mind that were held captive, and you're freeing them to see new things and develop and to go to new areas is a healing. It's a liberating feeling for the mind to be able to have space to absorb new information. There's inconvenience, but there's an addictive quality to adventure. And really, when I started to do day trips, I look at day trips as the starter kit for somebody who wants to try to live mobile. And even if you don't want to live mobile, I think if you're just tired with life, I think that's something you should make a conscious effort to try to do on the weekends or your time off from work or whatever you do is, take trips outside of where you're normally at so that you can see new things in life. And little did I know, these were all planting the seeds and building my confidence that, I can go 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours away from my house, and I can survive. I can pick up things at the grocery store, even if I've never been to that grocery store. I can, buy something at Walmart if I forgot a shirt. I don't need to pack for for a million year trip. You don't need as much stuff as you think you need. And all those things started to just build my confidence. And then when I looked at downsizing and people living in their RVs, which I looked at a lot of that, and I was considering buying an RV, I wasn't sure if the lifestyle would stick. So then I looked at cars and vans, and I just said, well, let me just try the car I have because I may not even like this life as a full timer. But then, sure enough, once I learned that I like living on less. I like having less to take care of. Parking is a challenge sometimes because I go in urban areas. But outside of that, that's how it all starts. Is just going for weekend trips, day trips. Going down to the beach and not coming back to your house the same day. I mean, and when I say a day trip, I should really say like a one night over trip. Wherever you're going to go, spend the night in your car, at a campground, somewhere safe, etc. And the nighttime is scary, but when you wake up in the morning, you feel invigorated. You feel alive. You feel like, wow, like, it's not that bad and it's fun. And you wake up in your car and you're ready to enjoy the day and to make the most of the day. And it's not the monotony of waking up in a hotel room, where you got to putz around, you got to, check in, check out, walk down a flight of stairs to get outside. It's just a whole different experience. And if you're watching this because you're thinking about living out of a car, or if you're thinking about living out of an RV, thinking about downsizing your life, or if you're just bored with life, take a trip this weekend and go at least 2 hours away from your house and plan it out. You're going to be scared. Your car's not going to be set up initially the right way. But next weekend you take another trip and then it gets better. And then maybe for 2 weeks you don't take any trips. Maybe for 2 months you don't take it. But progressively, over time, you build your confidence, you build your range, you get past resistance, you develop new type of ways of doing it, and you experience life. It may stick. You may get inspired like me and do more research and do more traveling. You say, you know what? I want to live light. I want to live free. I want minimal expenses. Or you may say, look, I want to keep my house. I want a little place niched out for me. I want a home base. And I want to travel occasionally just to kind of, rejuvenate my juices of life, rejuvenate my creativity, not stay in a static, boring place all the time, but just for an occasional trip. Day trips and taking action immediately. I believe procrastination is your biggest enemy in life. Do things responsibly, but you got to live with urgency. Because if you don't seize this moment, life can change quick, and then you may not have another moment to seize. You may not be in that position. And there's time windows in life. And when you have the capability and when you can do something responsibly, strike. Does it mean it'll be perfect? Nothing's perfect. Does it mean it'll automatically be successful? No, sometimes you fail in life. But you plan, you prepare, you give it your best shot, and grace of God be with you, and that's how you experience life. And so that's what I wanted to share in this video. Peace and love.